just a couple things, just going back over the years. I'm just going to talk about some of the real delightful players that we've had to be around that I've enjoyed. I said this on TV one night, not necessarily the best players, but guys, it's just been a thrill for me to be around and get to know. Danny Ainge comes to mind. I just had a blast with Danny as a player, excellent player, very free-spirited, say what he thought all the time, and we'd get into arguments about every day. I always remember a great one when I was coaching him, and then Danny, we were playing Golden State, and he was guarding Mitch Richmond at that time. Mitch was a rookie for Golden State, and he was just killing Danny. Danny was scoring too, but Mitch was. So I called time out. I thought I was going to give him the old win one for the giver speech. Danny, what are you doing? Can't you guard that rookie? What's wrong? Can't you guard that guy? And he said, no, I can't. And so it was one of those deals like, oh, okay. And so I said, well, what do you think? He said, well, either get somebody else on him or give me help because I can't guard him. I said, well, okay. But that was Danny. It wasn't any fake bravado. He knew what was going on out there. And I always really appreciated him. A lot of fun being around him, and he was a terrific player. Reggie Theus, I enjoyed coaching Reggie, and Reggie was Reggie. Reggie's one of those guys that very gifted, great-looking guy that knew the stats immediately. He's always in his head. I think he's one of those guys that if he got 30 points, he knew he had 30 points. And a little bit selfish. I always said he's the only player I've ever coached or been around that would actually break his own play. Just for spite, I guess. That was him. I've told this story before. It's true stories in the book I wrote some years ago about Reggie, and we were playing in San Antonio, and I'd had a few, not saying I really like Reggie, but we had a few problems. And you tend to be a little selfish. Okay, and so we were going along. We were winning the game, but San Antonio was coming back, and he kept breaking the plays. He's supposed to get a play that would really get Eddie Johnson an open shot, and Eddie was a great shooter. Some of you remember Eddie. He went on to play a lot of years, and he kept breaking the play. So I called a timeout late in the game, and I said, "Listen, Reggie, run this play. Or we called it 2-up or something." I said, "Run this play, and if you don't, and hit Eddie and get this play run right, I'm going to run out on the court, and I'm going to punch you in your nose." and Reggie looked at me and he said, "Jerry," he said, "you're too little. I'll beat the crap out of you." I said, "Reggie, that's not what I said. I said, I told you what I was going to do." I said, "I'm going to run out on the court and I'm going to punch you in your nose." And I said, "You can do whatever you're going to do after that." And I said, "I don't think it'll help your career a lot to beat the crap out of a little gray-haired guy, but that's whatever." I said, "I've been beat up before, so I'm not worried about that." But so anyway, we go out there, and Reg runs the play perfect. Eddie hits the shot, we win the game. And so anyway, I had to visit with the media a little bit right afterwards. And I'm walking in the locker room. Here comes Eddie Johnson running out there, and Eddie says, Jerry, I got to know, man. I got to know." He said, "We were talking about locker room. What were you going to do if he didn't run that play?" I said, "I was going to run out there and punch him in his nose." He said, "I told everybody that because I told him you're crazy." I don't know if I would have. That's pretty crazy. But that's some of those guys, and I used to just get the biggest thrill out of going to practice to watch Jason Williams play, Jay Will. His Jay Will was as much fun in practice as he was in games, because, there's no way it wasn't all good. He's so exciting because he'd do some of the dumbest things you ever saw, too. The ball go everywhere. But I just enjoyed watching him because he's so creative, and the talent with the ball was something like I hadn't seen since Pete Maravich. And, he was that level of ball handler, just an artist. Probably his brain and then the rest of everything wasn't, all the wires were not hooked up. There's a couple little dangling wires out there. But he was, he was so country, he made me feel like an urbanite, he was really country, but neat kid. So that's but the personalities, that's what it's all about. And like in all your jobs and people you deal with, some people are just neat to be around, even though they're a little unique. And others, of course, you got some you just avoid every day too, but that's another issue. So, hey, let's talk about what you want to talk about. I'll be glad to take any questions. Yes, ma'am.
Jerry, my name's Wendy, and I want to tell you something, and I told you earlier. Chuck, you really got my heart the other day. At the end of the last game, when the two of you choked up.
Well, thanks. I didn't.
Thank you for 26 wonderful years.
I was thankful. I really tried to, I was worried about that, to be honest with you. I didn't want everybody to know that I'm just a little baby. But, but I think what did it for me was when Grant kind of broke up. And it's like I told Jeff Peters this morning, I said, it really took me about, I didn't know Grant was actually a human, I just love working with Grant. He's such a different kind of person, but I get a kick out of him. He's fun to be with, but, obviously he's one, I don't know what, it would be ADD or whatever, but, he's remarkable. I mean, he sat there texting while he's talking about the game or trying to check on the Yankees or whatever, but just a remarkable talent. But when I noticed him choking up, it really got to me. I thought, wow. And it sort of hits, because let's face it, it could be it. I was taking the approach, or had tried to take the approach that it was the last game of the year, but that's just that. But then all of a sudden, it might be the last ever, I don't know. And people always say, well, what are you going to do? Well, I don't know. I can retire, I guess. I don't really want to. I'm still reasonably healthy. And obviously you see it in my prime shape here. I always had that face for television, right? Actually, it's a little scary. I see the games like you do. It's like, God, I didn't realize I'm getting so old. It's really depressing. But then, like my wife said, well, they didn't hire you because of your looks. And I was going to say, well, thanks a lot. I said, I married you for yours. So that's the truth of that. But, yes.
Question, if the Kings would go to Southern California, do you think it would be as bad as the coach of the Lakers was saying? That's 3 basketball teams, 3 professionals in a relatively smaller area. Would that be bad financially for all 3 of them?
Well, it wouldn't. I don't think it hurt the Lakers at all. I think the Lakers are the Lakers. They're almost a national commodity. They get great crowds on the road, and they've got the huge TV market. It'll affect the Clippers some. The truth is, it probably, I hate to say it, but it probably will work. There's 4 or 5 million people in Orange County. And it's from Anaheim to Staples Center, it's an hour, if traffic's not bad, which is never. So yeah, honestly, there's a lot of money there. A metro area of 4 to 5 million just in Orange County, in that area. So in north from San Diego up, so it would probably work. I think the problem they've got, though, it is just that. It's a 3rd basketball team. They'll never have the real committed fans that, which I think has always been unique here. I've been everywhere. But it's almost more of a college atmosphere where the fans of the Sacramento Kings have bought their tickets. It's not corporations buying them and giving them to large groups, this and that. It's people. And, our fans over the years have not just become fans of the Sacramento Kings, but they've become knowledgeable NBA basketball fans. And I've always said part of that is I helped out with, because we were so bad there early, they had to become, really love the league in general and the game in general. And I think, that's kind of how I am as a fan. I love the Kings, I want them to do well, but I really like the game. I haven't changed. As the ball goes up, I get excited like a little kid. Can't help it. And but I think that's what they would miss, and I think this is a great market, and I think that hopefully they'll stay, or hopefully something will be worked out, because I think it's proven to be a great market. We had 10 plus years of sellouts when the team first came, and this team certainly did not have a lot of success, and then had a lot of success, and had another 8 or 9 years of sellouts. There's really no other, only 2 or 3 other markets could say something like that. So, I just have to be optimistic. We'll just have to see.